Alright YouTube, what is going on? It is Bigfoot here today, bringing you another episode of my Transport Fever series, White Valley. In today's episode, we are going to be building a really cool railway line and also dealing with some basic issues to do with just some goods movement really. So something identified in the last episode that the town of Hetton, my largest sort of capital city if you will, it was struggling in terms of, or it really, let me rephrase that, dropped the bomb in terms of construction materials, and I was surprised by this and I wasn't at all sure why. The bottom line is the factory which makes construction materials isn't really getting in stone in at as fast rate as it once was, so we're going to start off today by bringing in more stone. There's another quarry which I never realised is actually quite close by. So you are also going to join this road, which is extremely busy. We're now going to have 4 different routes, or 4 different transport routes on this wee section here. And if you join the pink as well, I mean, there's a lot going on up here. This road, which I artificially built, is busy. It's getting used, that's for sure. This is going to be G. Now, I think we've already got a G Hampstead stone, don't we? Do we? No, it's Colburn. Yeah, because we're nowhere near Hampstead. This is going to have to be G Hetton stone, even though there's no stone. Well, we're not really near Hetton at all, but it's justified. So there we go, so that's that built. One thing I need to do while we're in here is there's a line 1 which shouldn't exist, so we'll get rid of you. Now, for some reason, all the routes we've got along this road, I don't have a depot up here. My nearest depot is actually not too far away though, so we're going to go ahead and get probably about, I would say probably 1, 2, 3, probably about 8 all in all. So that should be 8, 4 and 4, perfecto, and you're going to go onto the G Hetton stone line. So that should provide a lot more stone, and that should mean that we get a lot more construction materials. One to provide in here to Coburn, which is doing relatively well, but again could be doing better, and then also into Hetton, like I said at the start of the video. So the next thing I want to do is, it's really nice to see actually the amount of tools being created here. It's because this has breached its initial capacity, it's gone up, it's upgraded, which is nice to see. We're up to 100, which is great, and I'm really glad. That was something which I was wanting for a while, and in between episodes I let the game sort of run a little bit. Plus I have been playing on ×2 speed for a good amount of time. So we're going to go ahead and make 2 changes. We're going to be starting to add in more trains. Right now we've currently got a train going in between Hetton and Hampstead. However, we need to add in a second because the demand is sort of increasing quite a lot now. And that's what we're going to do. We've also got faster railway lines, which is good to see as well. Not that we're going to need that for a long time because we've not got that fast trains, but when we start to get multiple units, we are going to require that. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to go ahead and signal up the lines and get everything working. So what I need to do first of all is have you going in at platform 2, which is fine. And then up here, I don't really know which platform it needs to be. It needs to be the one to the right, which is number 2, and you've assigned to that as well, which is great. So the next thing I need to do is go ahead and build some lights, which is something I've not done in the ridiculously longest time. In terms of what side trains go on the right hand side, which is fair enough, so you'll stop there for going into the station because I don't want it overlapping the crossroads, and then from there things should be pretty easy to be honest. It looks like it's still a tiny little bit of an issue with building signals in tunnels, but not too bad. I remember, and I don't think I should have to do that in this series, but if I have many underground stations or many underground railways, then it can be a little bit challenging then. I think I also need to, I've still not played around with mods or done any feedback, so I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, I just can't get off the save today. Literally, I think I'm on about my 4th episode in a row or something, so I am on quite a lot to say the least. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at this train. And you're now, yeah, so you're now actually assigned to use both sides, which is great. So we can now get a second train on. The reason is because the capacity is outgrown the train, or just about anyway, you're at 116. And the frequency as well is only like every 7 minutes right now, which is, it's not the best to be honest, and it could be a little bit higher. So that's why we're going to get a second train. It's just going to be the exact same train in the exact same colour, so it's not exactly going to be anything too exciting. I could actually go for different colour wagons. I'm going to go for just the German ones this time, so these are the exact same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then set you onto the T Hampsteads, and then you should be good to go. You should stay to this side, no problem. One thing I am going to do is get rid of is... Actually, I'll leave that on there, because if we change our upgrades, then I might want to go ahead and alter that. So I'm going to leave that for the time being there. But that's 2 trains on the go, on the same line, and that's the first of many, I'm sure, in this series to come. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is add some more trucks in here, because we evidently need to ship more tools down here into Hetten. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab myself some of these, an automatic, because I don't know what it's going to be, and I'm just going to put 2 on because it's such a short journey. It's going to be G Hetten, and it's going to be should just be goods. I think I should have called it, but I've obviously not called it that. What is it? Planks, stone, tools. So yeah, so that works out nicely. We've had a few new buses actually since I recorded the last episode as well, so we might have better buses, but I'm not at all sure. That's a bendy bus there, so you guys are 28, 28, 22, so no, we've not actually breached the current what we've got, which is 28 is our best, so there's nothing really there too much at all. Right, how are we doing? So the sawmill here, try to ship more items, what, to the sawmill or from the sawmill? So from the sawmill, more items need to go from the sawmill down to here. Again, you're at 100 production, so we're going to have to work on that. So I'm just going to assign myself, what, maybe 2 or 3 more vehicles. You're just carrying planks. 1, 2, 3 we'll go for. And then you're going to be on the G Hampstead's planks line. Or G Hetten, sorry. I'm getting confused myself now. So that's hopefully going to solve that. Then we've got an oil refinery issue. So the reason is because I'm obviously not shipping enough items. We've got a really big build up here, and a lot of it's actually to go to Coburn. So I thought I added in, and I did add in more vehicles, but they've obviously just not had that good an effect. So let's jump in here, let's go for fuel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're going to be going on the G Coburn fuel line. And there we go, that's that all set up. I just want to jump in here actually and check and see how we're doing on some of the profit margins on the fuel routes. So yeah, actually, okay, we needed that upgrade definitely on the fuel trucks. We really did. That's actually Hetten's, that's even the wrong one. So the Coburn, yeah, the Coburn's actually got a shit ton. But, I mean, the demand's there, Coburn's obviously wanting it, we've got a lot of trucks on it, so it works out not too bad. So that's working, that should hopefully, I mean, I'm guessing you've dried up as, you've not even dried up here, but you could be higher. You've obviously breached 400 because the limit's 800 there, so that's interesting to know. And then as we can see here, the production's at 0, so that's kind of interesting. What I'm going to do shortly though is I'm going to add in, I need more steel. We're actually creating steel at a good rate, you know that. I think we just need more trucks again to move steel. So if we jump into here, we're buying a lot of trucks this episode. You can see a pattern already. We need steel, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 new trucks I think on this route. And this is the B Hampstead Steel, it should be, or G Hampstead Steel, and there we go. So that should be that issue sorted out. So that should hopefully now mean that we are gonna see this increase hopefully to at least closer to 100. It doesn't need to be on 100, but it needs to be closer. So what the biggest thing I want to do in this episode is really meet the passenger demands. we look at the towns of Burnham, Telscombe, Maidstone and Coburn, and then this can continue on to Kendal, Godalming, Fordwich. We can have massive loop here, right? But I need to go ahead and start a train line, and that's what we're going to do. So 2 episodes ago I built 2 stations. The current one, which we've upgraded today, it's doing well, and I'm sure it's going to continue to make us money into the future. But we also built a second station, and I know I was going to need this. The reason is because I actually don't like that type of station, you know that, and I might change it. Let me have a look and go for stations. It's just without middle platform. I want with middle platform. I must have selected the wrong one. So it's this one I want. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete you. A lot of this is grown in around here actually. This is the reason I built it, because I knew the land value was just going to continue to go up and up and up, and I needed to go ahead and get a bus or a train station here really quickly, sorry. So what I would like at least is probably 3. 240 was what we were going for, and then high speeds, and then I don't need a second street connection. I should be able to fit in 3 platforms at least. Probably get 4 in actually at a push. We are literally on the water now though, so no, we can get 4 in. It's just because obviously this is my capital, so I do reckon that we're going to have an extremely large amount of lines going forward, so... And all these houses here are going to have to get demolished too, which is what I'm going to start off by doing now. So, a lot of these houses are some of the houses that have been here since episode 1, but I need my railway lines to function, and that's what they're going to do. So we're going to start off here, let's go for some tracks, let's go for some high speed tracks for the first ever time. We need to, I first of all just want to create something quite cool. So you guys are pretty much going to run parallel to each other. So you're going to run into there and you're going to run into that track. Then you're going to run, I don't want to do this actually. How do I want to do this? I'm only going to be using one side right now, so, and it's going to be probably this side here. So let's build the outer line first, because I know my limits with the outer line. And the outer limit is the water, funnily enough. I can't exactly go much further out than the water. So we actually have a lot of room beside this road, so I'm not actually too worried about it. It should be quite a nice train journey actually along here. I don't want to drop too much speed though, that is my only worry. So then when we get across here, we're just going to cross over here. Actually, should I really? No, we can get a nice, I just want nice straight lines, because especially when we're going to be going to the speed stats long term, this line's going to be going to, I want to have some really, really good speeds. That looks pretty good about there, and then I should just be able to do that. That's exactly what I want, and it's not actually costing me that much, surprisingly. I mean, a straight section like this is what, 108k compared to the amount of money we're making year by year, which is something I've not looked at again. You can see we're making income anyway about 30 million a year right now, so we're making a lot, that is for sure. Now when we get over to here, we're actually going to be going up this hill, so we're going to cross over. And then we're going to sort of just start our, what do you call it, incline, I guess you could say. It's going to have to be a lot of tunnels on this route, and I realise that, but it's going to be sort of a mixture of things. So you're going to come up here, and then when we get to the top, I think we're going to have to just see how we're going to do in terms of a station, because I've not really thought this through. But some of these tunnels are quite nice actually, they sort of just go into the hillsides and they sort of make a lot of sense. But now we're at our first challenge here. I'm actually going to put the game back onto play as well. So the question is, where am I going to have a station in this town? And also, I can see this one being quite a large one because there's lots of towns around. So, the bus station's a really central location and I like that. And I can see where I want the station. It's probably going to be a road coming out from here anyway and having it here. This is what I would like. And we can actually get a big station as well in here because why not? So, oh wow. What's middle transit tracks? Not really at all sure about a lot of this stuff. So, no second street connection, high speeds, 320 we'll go for. I don't think we'll need that. And then we'll go for, might as well go for 4 platforms right now. I don't think we'll need that anytime soon, but We can easily get you in. If we remove you and remove you and remove you, then we should be good to get that in. What, there? And that's nice and central, I would say. Or maybe even turn it. No, let's go for that there. And then if we have a road coming along from there into that junction there, then we are in sphere of influence of the bus station, which is great. So I was a bit worried we weren't, but we are. And that's great. So that means I can easily now go ahead and get more passengers to this station much more easily. Right, so that's you into there, no problemo. Now we need to just double this up. Probably going to cost me about 5 million probably to double this up, I reckon. So that section there is costing me 9 million, so my estimates are horribly wrong. It's because I didn't build a tunnel side by side, that's why. I'm an idiot, I'm an absolute idiot. Why didn't I just check that? I mean, that just cost me so much more than I had to. Oh well. Anyway, continuing you along here. Now, are we too close? We are... No, we're not. I don't know why this isn't... It isn't just hugging. There we go. It's snapping, that's the word I'm looking for. So you snap to there. Now, is there enough room? Is there enough room? There isn't enough room, unfortunately. It's not too much of a problem though. Let's just delete you, you, and you, and you, and you. And then let's go ahead and grab you, and let's go like that, and let's go like that, and problem solved. Put the game back onto play for the time being, and then let's draw you down here, like so. And this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting again. I'm really going to like this waterfront area, I can just tell, but it might be a little bit difficult for the time being. Do not know why that's not possible, and again it's not possible. There's something going on here I just can't do anything with. No, there we go, so problem solved. Very strange when stuff like that happens, I just don't understand it. But there we go, we can get you along and into there like that, and that's absolutely perfect. And then for some reason if we wanted to, we can have you come across like that, and then have you come across like that. So there we go, that is that first part of the line built. You can see lots of coal in the distance as well, that makes me happy. That does. Maybe need to add 1 or 2 more trucks onto that route, which I think I will do. I am thinking, where is the nearest depot though? Probably Telscom. We'll just get a few more trucks on this route, to be honest. It's not a drastic increase, but I'm seeing stuff waiting there, so might as well go for it. Let's get 4 extra trucks on there, and you're going to be on the G... I think we called you Hampstead Coal in the end, even though you weren't really near Hampstead, but I think that's it. So you are sort of a yellowy colour. And yeah, that's not a yellowy, a pink colour. How am I just don't even ask, honestly, don't. That's awful. Right, so the next thing is that we have choices where we can go to, and there's many places I do want to go to. I think one of them very quickly will be this Trollery place, and then I think we will create a loop around to Hampstead. I think that's going to be very, very quickly done. However, we're going to turn our attention, and I need to get to Maidstone quickly because you can just see the problems with passengers right now. It's not a bad problem, but it's a problem which needs to be addressed, and obviously we are sort of like wasting money every time we don't deal with something. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you loop round like that, and then, so it's going to be quite a sharp turn, I guess you could say, coming out of here. What I'm going to do is, I don't think there's any buses on this route right now, so we're going to have you curl right round like that, and have you like that. Now, you are moaning about something. Why do you, oh, you just don't use that road. What is this about? Oh yeah, because you just can't connect to... I've not got any routes that way, but people who like commute themselves use that. Okay, right, you know what we're gonna do? Actually that's not gonna... It's not gonna work long term, but short term it's gonna solve my problem, so there we go. So that is that issue solved. Right, so coming out of here, I basically just need to curl around, so whereabouts are we aiming for? This should just be quite a gradual, nice piece of track actually. Shouldn't cost me too much either. and I should be able to keep a relatively decent speed coming into here. We're going to have to go for a tunnel there, and now we have our next situation, which is where we build our next station. Now the bus station is not actually really that central compared to what I would have originally hoped. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and build a station. I know where I want to build the station. I'm just going to delete a lot of this here quickly, and we're going to get the station along this stretch here. So let me grab this. Again, it saved the prefix from last time, so that's good. You're going to go in there, which is nice, and then we're just going to have a road coming down to that junction there. So are we in sphere of influence of the bus station? Probably not. Are we in sphere of influence of the bus stop? Not bad, and not bad. So I think we're covered all in all. I will probably still try and improve things a little bit, but this bus route's probably going to disappear anyway when the train comes in. I might keep it, though I'm not really at all sure what I'm going to keep and what I'm not, because it's going to be a long railway line anyway, so it just really depends on how things go. But we're going to loop you in, and you are probably going to come in on this side here, because there's a house just gone in the other side, so that doesn't work out too well. Then if you can snap to that nicely. Again, if you get the tracks to snap together, they're much cheaper. That only cost me like 600k. This is, again, 490k, very sharp there, so we're going to lose, if we look at this here, I mean, pretty much good speeds all the way along, 186. We're going to lose a lot of speed coming in here, but you're going to be stopping at that station. I really don't think I'm going to have any, or many routes that just miss stations, or not at this stage. I'm not going to have any like expresses anyway, if you understand what I'm saying. Then with that done, we come through to Telscom, and then the final stretch. I'm not going to continue on to Colesburn right now, but you definitely need an upgrade. You really do. You're really long actually, and this part's not built out too well, so let's try and pre-build this station and see what we can do. So yeah, you can just see how long this town is compared to the station. The station is long, but I don't know, it's just very strange. What we're going to do, I think, is we're going to have the station at this end of town actually, or we could have it in about there, or we could have it wedged in the middle and all this. That would probably be the best thing. So why don't we rotate you like that? So say if I go for it about there, then that's relatively close to everyone. So what I'm going to do is this is going to delete, that just tempts me to go ahead, and I realise I broke a bus route right now. That really tempts me to just get more goods on the go quicker. You know what I mean? Every time I get a new wagon unlocks, I get very excited in terms of transporting by goods, because that's something I've just not done yet. What we need to do is second street connection large. Let's go for like that. Now, shit, wrong button. Now, it's probably going to have to be at an angle like that, because I need to get my... Let me zoom out here. It's going to have to be more out like this. I could just throw it in like there and just see what happens. Let's just do that. Oh, I can't align terrain though. That is an issue which I can't really resolve. It's probably because this place is actually quite surprisingly hilly, you can see, so I can't really support something like that. So that really gives me the nursing to change the angle. Though there's nothing that really wants to work. That would work there, but I can't support an angle like that because that's going to literally cut the town in half, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I do have an alternative solution here, and I'm going to have to pause and you'll see it in a second. So there we have it. So this is what I've gone ahead and built. So my idea is, and I don't know how well it's going to work actually, but it was basically to have the railway lines exiting going under the town, and that's going to work. So for example, that's great. That means I don't really have to deal with that end of town. I can keep everything the way it is. This end of town isn't too bad. There is going to be a little bit of a drop. So for example, if I am building out of here, there is a bit of a slope, but it's not too drastic. which is good to see. Let's delete that. So we can make this work. In terms of the old bus route is, I'm not really at all sure. I could have it go over the station, which is really tempting actually, you know that. I want to see how possible it is. Yeah, I literally just want to do that. I literally want to do that, and I'm going to do that. So you're going to come in and you're just going to basically join the roads. Well, can we have a more elegant corner? There we go. Like that. So that should be the bus route sorted again. If we just jump in here. There we go. So that's the bus route sorted again. So the two buses, it's not quite as perfect as it was before, but tell you what, I could make it like that, and then that goes along there. So yeah, so that is basically back to how it was. It used to come out of this street here, but it now goes out of that street there. So it's not that much of a difference, and that helps that problem out there. Again, I will probably beautiful-eyes this place up over time, but for the time being, it will have to do. Right, can we get, how's this gonna work? We need you to go along. This could be challenging actually, I didn't really think all of this through, so we want you to go into there, and then I would like a connection up to there. But you're not gonna have any of that. I mean, it is quite a large difference to be fair, I'll give you that. I would just really like a bus stop here, to be honest. I mean, we are in sphere of influence of this bus stop here anyway, but I would just like people to be able to walk in between these two. Is there paths in this game yet? I don't think there is there? No. You're too much slope, that's totally understandable. Why don't we get you coming out of there, and then you sort of just going into there? Not the prettiest, but it's more logistical if people are getting off at that bus stop, so there we go, that works out relatively nicely, and that is that pretty much now ready to go. So ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to pause, or not pause the game, I'm going to speed things up. I'm going to build this line in, and I'm also going to do all the lights, because that's going to take me a good 10 minutes at least. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the first ever Crimson Express. So that's one thing that I've wanted to bring to this series, is start to name stuff a little bit more personal, instead of like, I had loops before, and I had one or two okay railways in the Grand Canyon and in Scotland, but I've not really had anything that cool, so I've decided to call this the Crimson Express on the Crimson Line, and it's really cool. I love this station down by the water, and we've also got this really cool depot as well. This will be a thumbnail at some point, I bet you, but this is just down by the water and it's so cool. I just absolutely love it. It's great. One thing I want to draw your attention to is the population of this town. Pretty good, isn't it? Also just want to double check this right now. 52, if that could increase that would be better, but, well, it's actually upgrade in 5 months maybe, so we're gonna fly around in a minute anyway once I get this up and going and just check over everything. So with that good to go, I've did all the signalling, you know how it all works, we need to get some trains on the go basically. So what trains are we gonna go for? Very good question indeed. We've actually unlocked a shit ton of trains over the past. We're at 1979 now, so we have unlocked a lot of stuff. We've got stuff like the Metroliner, which is quite cool. These are like 246 seaters, 183s. These cost a lot. These guys, 90 seaters. 90 seaters aren't a lot, but they're cheap, and I can have these frequent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy these in the Crimson, and I'm gonna buy probably about 4 of them. I'm just trying to think, is there any difference between them? There is honestly a tiny wee graphical difference actually. So I'm gonna buy 1, 2, 3, 4 of you guys, okay? I'm gonna set them all out onto the Crimson Line, and off you guys go. So these are the starting trains. Long term I'll probably have like TGVs or whatever. God, they're not really that crimson, are they? But these are the trains, so that's them off, and I'm not really at all sure. The top speed is not going to be amazing on them, but they're going to do the job. What I am going to do is I'm straight away going to pause, because I just want to leave quite a large room between the trains. So the first one, off you go into the distance. I'll actually speed this game up into ×3 for this exact purpose right now. A lot of the bus lines are going to be redundant, and that's something which I'm not going to remove, but I'm going to pull back on the buses, I think. going forward anyway. I'm at least going to have to break it up a little bit anyway. So off that train goes. And then the next one could come out, please. Stop you. Now, at this end here actually, I think this is quite smart. So this can use any platform. I'm going to have it use the platform number 1 because you're closest to the main station. It can use any here, which is good, and we're going to lock you in there. So that's quite cool. At all the other stations, it doesn't matter which platform it uses. But 5-minute frequency isn't bad between all these towns. Again though, we might have to go ahead and up more trains, so we'll just have to see. The problem is the running cost though, that is the real problem. And the Hampstead heating is really taking a hit actually. You've only got 42 and you've only got 50 on you, so that's something which we do need to watch out for. So a lot of people want to go to Burnham here. Not as many want to go to Maidstone, but that's maybe because we've got a lot of buses on the Maidstone line already, so this is definitely going to start to eat into things though, that's for sure. Sphere of influence across Hetton itself isn't overly large. I didn't stop that 4th train, did I? Whereabouts are you? Can we go to? Yes, you're not that far along. Basically, things are, I don't know, it's going to be a little bit hit and miss in Hetton right now anyway, but I think long term it should really make a difference. So we'll set you off, actually we'll stop you again. Just for the banter, and there we go. So that's them a little bit spread out, not perfect by any means, and they'll probably catch up with each other, but until they complete one whole loop, we're not going to have any people waiting. But you can just see here, the amount of people that are waiting to go. I mean, this goes via both. This goes via both Maidstone, Hetton, and Telscombe, so we're all good. That is the best. That is such a good train. They're like 144 seaters, they're very similar to the current ones we have. They would have been better choice, but we're going to leave that for now and we're just going to see how that goes. So, how are we doing in terms of the rest of the map? Because we've honestly sort of just swayed away from things for a while. It's really nice to see actually a town like Bawtry, or I want to call it Bawtry, is doing quite well. I didn't think it would be getting this passenger numbers, but tell you what it is. Hampstead I think is doing really well as a town. It's got good connections. Most of the town I would say is served. Maybe not the bottom ends, like down this part here maybe. I don't think you're served that well. However, I would say that the rest of the town's looking quite good. Let's add some more buses on though. We got that, but that's only a 14-seater, so we're still no better. Let's get 1, 2, 3 extra yellow buses going up to Bawtry. And there we go. In terms of going over to, what's this place called? Portish Head. You're doing not too bad as well. I could definitely deem 1 or 2 extra buses going up to there as well. From what I can remember off the top of my head, that was more of a horrible mustard colour. The reason I'm adding extra onto these 2 routes is just because I just want to try and help the train out. So if they get the bus into here, then they get the train out of here. You are down to 35, which, I mean, you were pulling much higher numbers recently, but you're just not anymore, which is a real shame. Anyway, how are we doing over here? We need to just increase the amount of trucks all round. So we're lacking on steel because we're not moving coal fast enough. We need to move tools into town much quicker, so we're going to add more trucks on pretty much every part of the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a big increase. You're going to go onto the tools, so the tools should move into town faster. We're then going to go on coal. We're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a shit ton. It's going to be the G Hampstead coal, which you now have a shit ton of trucks. I already just added trucks in recently, but that's obviously not had much of effect. Then we're going to come up to this depot here. I think we need to start to move iron a little bit more faster, so we're going to add in 1 or 2 more iron trucks, which should hopefully make a bit of a difference. So if we go for iron, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, so we're pretty much doubling this capacity. G Hampstead Iron is that pink one there, so you guys are good to go. The next thing, we need to ship the wood or the wooden planks, I think, at a much faster rate. So you're also going to get some more trucks. A lot of trucks being bought right now, eh? It's an extra 5, and you're going to be going on to the G-Hetton planks, so that'll get you guys moving quicker. In terms of steel going south, maybe. I mean, what's your production? Your production's at 144, that's only going to increase right now. So it's really weird. Maybe I need some more steel trucks? I don't really know if I do though, that's the thing. I think it's because of just the coal all comes in at once. But there's a build up. I'm going to add in 2 more steel trucks. So that's going to be on the G. It's going to be on the Hampstead Steel it should be. So there we go. So that sorts that out. And that is pretty much this area done. We need to go over to this part of the world now and see what we can do. So obviously stone's increased a lot. That means production here's increased a lot, which is good. So let's see, only still 22% actually for Coburn. So I think we need to get more trucks going into Coburn. In terms of Hetton I think needs more trucks as well, you know that. Because there's a lot of stuff there, there's obviously lots of stone. Holy shit, why are we just getting loads of good trains? That's a TGV for God's sake. It's annoying, really is annoying. We just need to keep adding more trucks, honestly. So the first part we're going to do is we're going to add freight, construction materials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coming in. So that's a large increase coming down here into Coburn. So this is G Coburn and it is going to be, well, I mean we need some on the stone line, but we'll put some on the construction. Then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have probably done this at the Hetton end, but this will be the G Hetton construction. So that should get construction materials moving much faster now. Now we need stone, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we need to go ahead and put these onto the G Coburn stone line. So that's just going to be moving more stone from here, just quicker basically, over to our construction plant. And then I would probably say we need more trucks up there as well. So I've basically probably just gone ahead and defeated the purpose of a lot of this, but oh well. We need stone, that's by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's put you onto the G, you should be the G Hetton stone line. I believe, yep you are, green in the corner, which is nice. And that should hopefully solve some of those issues. We're just basically producing so much right now, it's insane. So you can see how busy this place is, thank god it has been upgraded. Though there's a lot of waiting on one particular, and that's... I need to upgrade some of these trucks actually, you know that. Let me just, I know I've gone over time and I'm going to wrap this up shortly, but... yeah, we need to actually have a look at this in a bit more detail. I've just been working on so many mega projects recently, that's the problem. I think we've still got old trucks on some of the... yeah, we do. On the construction Hetton here, we have old trucks, which is not good. So vehicle replacement, so let's select truck and let's select construction materials. Okay, I realise I just bought a lot of trucks, but... so if you're at what? Oh, I'm just going to replace now. 3.1 million, I think all the trucks get replaced there, but oh well. The Hampstead Wood as well, you're still on old trucks, which I never realised either. So let's quickly jump in here, let's go for some... this is raw wood, isn't it? Yeah. So 16, and then replace now. And that upgrades all of them as well. So we should be off the old trucks. I never realised we still had old trucks. We still have some old trucks on this route here, which is the construction materials going into Coburn, and you're actually losing money, which is not good either. So yeah, let's just do the final upgrades here, and then I'm going to wrap things up here, ladies and gentlemen. So slightly longer episode today. We did so much different stuff. I feel I've jumped all over the place, but that's honestly just been the nature of today's episodes. This route is carrying what? Construction materials, yes. Replace now, and very odds low amount. No, that's the wrong interface, isn't it? Yep, that's why. Let's replace now. And there we go, so that's that problem solved. So we should see a little bit more profits, I think, coming in, and just more stuff being shipped around, because there's definitely the demand for it, that's for sure, in terms of all areas. Right now, fuel I think is doing quite well. I mean, you can see the amount of trucks coming along this road. It is pretty busy, and I'm going to slow things down to ×1 speed. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to look at some profits very quickly. We're starting to get to that stage now. We're into the 1982s, the 1980s. At this stage of the game, you're definitely seeing unlocks pretty much year by year, which is exciting, but it also means that there's going to be a lot of changes very frequently happening. We're at 63 million, and overall we're doing extremely well on profits. A lot of these have upgraded, and a lot of these are being affected by the train route though, so we're going to scale back on that next episode. In terms of the trains, it's a bit hit and miss. Coming up here to Hampstead right now from Hetton, it's a bit of a miss, but we're going to connect up this town here, Chorley, and then we're going to have this going into Burnham, probably in the next episode. I'm not decided yet really what's going to happen, but I mean the amount of coal we're producing here, it's great to see. We've already added lots of trucks onto here, but we obviously need to get more. This coal's got to go a long way though, and you can just see the amount of trucks that are coming along. You guys are probably, yep, you're about to pick up coal, you're about to pick up coal. All these trucks I think are about to pick up coal, so I'm just going to speed this up. I just want to see this being emptied. And while we look at that, the year by year income's about 30 million right now, so you can just see how well we're doing. Though we're spending a lot right now. That's something to take note of, because we are, I mean right now we're on trains, so that's one big thing to note. We can see this is going to deplete very, very quickly because the amount of trucks we've got in here. It is just insane, absolutely insane. Madness, isn't it? And now you're moaning about what not... Oh, right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this video. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, rate and subscribe if you are new around here. If you've got any comments or feedback, leave them down in below and I'll probably implement them in about 10 episodes time when I catch up. Again, I'm still pre-recording, so I do apologise about that. But that's all for this video, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.